A lit chalice is the symbol of our tradition, serving as a beacon of hope. As we light our chalice in the sanctuary, I invite those on Zoom to light a chalice or a candle and to type your location in the chat. Our chalice lighting and opening words today are by Eric Walker Wickstrom. When we light our chalice, everyone focuses on the flame. Yet it is the paraffin of the candle, the cotton of the wick, the potassium chloride and sulfur of the match, and the oxygen in the air around us that makes that flame possible. We are not called to be a lone beacon on a hill. Rather, we are meant to work together so that we might together shine.
Our opening, please rise in body or in spirit as we join together in singing hymn number 360. Here we have gathered together. There is a word change in the second verse, so please follow along with the words on screen, not those printed in the hymnal.
Gathered side by side, circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly word. May all who seek here feel that they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we have gathered, called to celebrate days of our lifetime, matter small and great. We of all ages, living out our span, infants and sages, sharing what we can. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows and regrets, but in the shadows let us not forget. Kindness can heal us, as we give we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song.
Would you please now join me in saying our covenant, which is in your bulletin and also on the screen. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. And now let us say our covenant together in Spanish. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en el amor, y ayudarnos unos a otros. Este es nuestro pacto. Please be seated. This congregation is a lively community with many opportunities to participate, which you will hear more about later. There are a few announcements for today, but please do check your order of service for more. The first announcement is not in your order of service. Just for your information, Beth will be in the social hall today to take care of the younglings because Beth is the only one signed up for the nursery. So since we only had one person in the nursery, the children who would normally be in the nursery will be in the social hall with Beth today. The next newcomers workshop will be on Saturday, August 24th in the social hall from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with a light lunch to follow. Anyone who is considering membership or looking to learn more about this congregation or about Unitarian Universalism in general is encouraged to attend. There will be a brief history of Unitarian Universalism and UUI on the program, and this will also be an opportunity to become familiar with the many possibilities for engagement that are here at this congregation. Those on the membership committee are encouraged to help with food and setup and cleanup and to participate in discussions. Please reach out to Ellen at membership@uui.org to attend or stop by the welcome table that's in the sanctuary in the social hall. And please let us know if you will need childcare for this event. And lastly, we are in need of volunteers to make coffee for our beloved coffee hour for the next 3 Sundays. No volunteers means no coffee. If you've been waiting to give coffee hour, right? Like, can that really happen? If you've been waiting to give coffee hour a try, or it's been a while since you helped, now is your chance. There's a QR code on the coffee table in the social hall to sign up online, or you can email Shelby or Sandra at comms@uui.org to get signed up. We appreciate your support. And now let us shift gears. Let us shift gears and remind ourselves that there are multiple ways that we live our covenant with one another, through volunteering, certainly, and also through sharing the joys and sorrows of our lives with one another, so that they may be held in community, and so that the community may know us and we may know others more deeply. As the music plays, I invite people in the sanctuary to come up and drop a stone into the bowl if something is on your heart today. And if you've written your joy or sorrow on a card, please leave it in the basket on the table at the very front of the table, and I will read it out loud. Please note that the cards are by the entrance to the sanctuary for easy pickup and filling out when you come in. For those of you who are on Zoom, we invite you to use the chat feature. Please put in all caps either joy or sorrow, plus your name and pronouns at the beginning of what you are sharing if you would like me to read it aloud in the sanctuary. You can also symbolically drop a stone into the bowl by typing drop stone or just DS into the chat. Let us share the joys and sorrows of our lives with one another as we celebrate this community. These are the joys and sorrows that were shared this morning. Felicia shares that Felicia is grateful for Savvy's help with biscuits this morning. So we may not have coffee, but we have biscuits. Patrick shares that his adoptive trans brother has decided to detransition, making them his adoptive sister. Patrick's hope is that this is a transition that makes them feel more whole. Luca shares that they signed up for mountain biking and love it. Gobi shares that going to the state fair with his mom made him feel happy. Kathy shares that her mother Audrey celebrates her 98th birthday this Friday. Happy birthday. And Savvy shares that she is learning how to knit. And before we move on and hold these, I want to thank you all for the time that I had in Buenos Aires the last 3 weeks. It was a transformative experience, and it is so sweet and wonderful, and it holds your minister in care to come back and have so many people asking about it who were supportive of the trip, and to have tango music filling the special music today. Thank you for this amazing experience. It was amazing and wonderful. Let us pause now in prayer and meditation as we hold all these joys and sorrows on our minds and in our hearts. Spirit of life and love, it's such a joy to be in this community, to be in a community, a congregation that not only seeks truth and meaning together, but that can share our lives with one another. A place where we can be our whole true selves and celebrate the milestones that we encounter in our lifetimes. To be able to share those hobbies and activities and events that bring us joy, and to be able to grieve together, to grieve our losses, to grieve the changes that life inevitably brings. Spirit of life and love, we are so grateful for this community. We hold all these joys and sorrows and those that we know are unspoken with love. Amen, and blessed be.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
All right. Oh, I'm on. Excellent. All right. This is a Words for All Ages. So those who are young or young at heart that want to join me up front, that would be lovely. Excellent. Oh, yes, we've got some youngins. Hey, guys, how are you doing? All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for joining me up here today. I have a story today, but I want to tell you why I picked this story. And soon I will also reveal why some of us have those little papers stuck to our back, because I'm sure people are a little curious about that. Do you guys have papers on your back?
I don't,
Oh, okay. Well, we'll take care of that.
because I don't know what.
Look, Alice has one.
How do we put them on ourselves?
Oh, we'll help you out with that. I think I have one on the floor that fell behind Ryan. Yeah, you can put that on her back. Okay, so I picked this book. Actually, I didn't pick this book. Uh-oh. I reached out to a person who grew up as a youth here at UUI, Bones Hawthorne, and I reached out to him because when I was kind of new to this church, I started doing a lot of volunteering with the kids and the youth in the church, and I went to some different youth cons that were with the middle school kids at the time. And Bones always did such a good job of leading the youth in these like really meaningful ceremonies and things. And so I was like, oh, Bones is going to have some great ideas for words for all ages. So we talked about what we could do, so that will be revealed soon. And he recommended this book because he said that his mom, when he was growing up, used to read it to him. So I'm going to share it with all of you. So there's some parts that I think are a little sad, but we'll talk about that later. Okay. Disappointing might be the better word. So this book is called Egbert the Slightly Cracked Egg. There once was an egg named Egbert. He loved to paint beautiful pictures. So he's in the refrigerator painting some beautiful pictures. Egbert's paintings always cheered up the other eggs in the refrigerator. But one day, it was discovered that Egbert was slightly cracked. Aren't we all? Eggs with cracked shells were not allowed to stay. This is where I think it gets sad. Sadly, the other eggs told Egbert he would have to leave. Isn't that a bummer? Egbert waved goodbye to his old friends. He hunched his shoulders, what little shoulders he had, and pressed his shell together so that the crack almost disappeared. Then he set out to look for a new place to live. All the drawers had labels, but none of them was right for Egbert. He knew he would have to look harder. There had to be some place he would fit in. Before long, Egbert came to a spot with a beautiful view. If only I could stay here, he thought. Then he had a great idea, because he's a really good painter. No one had to know that he was an egg with a cracked shell. He would paint himself to look like the other things around him. He'd blend right in. Look, he kind of does, doesn't he? But just as Egbert was thinking he had found the perfect place, a potato plant, which is kind of weird, happened to notice his crack. Split, the plant ordered. Again, so disappointing. Egbert tried not to be discouraged. Maybe I'll have better luck outdoors, he said to himself. The only way down was to jump. Uh-oh, an egg jumping sounds bad. Luckily, Egbert landed in a soft bed of flowers. He had never seen flowers before, but they smelled even better than butter and lettuce. Perhaps this is a perfect place for me, he thought. A dab here, a splotch there. Voila! Egbert was covered with flowers. But late that afternoon, an angry bee discovered that you cannot get nectar from an egg. Again, Egbert was told to leave. It was getting dark, and he had still not found a place to live. Just when he was about to give up all hope, a glimmer of something caught his eye. I wrote my page. What beautiful little lights, Egbert whispered. With all his might and twice his usual care, he climbed up the fence. Perfect, Egbert said, when he was covered with stars. I think he looks really good covered with stars. You guys think so? But the next morning, When the night stars were gone, a cat discovered that Egbert was just an egg with a cracked shell. "Scramble," said the cat. Egbert took a hard fall on the sidewalk. Now he was more cracked than ever. As it started to rain, he began to sob. He realized that no matter how he painted himself, he could not hide who he was. Finally, the rain stopped and the sun broke through a crack in the clouds. Egbert began to notice something he had never noticed in his whole life. The world was full of cracks. All sorts of wonderful cracks. Maybe it's not such a bad thing to be slightly cracked, he thought. It's kind of pretty, isn't it? Yeah. From then on, Egbert traveled around the world, making new friends and seeing famous crack sites. Ooh, he saw a volcano. There's other the Grand Canyon's a giant crack. There's lots of good crack places. But he never forgot his friends back home in the fridge, and he painted them beautiful postcards of his travels. It's very kind of him, considering how they treated him. They were well and truly amazed, and they missed him, if the truth be told. To this day, Egbert does not regret being cracked. In fact, he is even a little proud of it. All right, so that's the story of Egbert, the slightly cracked egg. And the activity we're going to do with these little papers on our back, for those of you who have them, is that we're going to celebrate each other and celebrate our cracks. Because here in this community, what we're all about is understanding that all of us have little bits of cracks to us. But we come here to this place so that we can celebrate those cracks as well as all the things that make us great. And sometimes it's kind of hard for us to see them, right? Like, you don't always know that, like, maybe somebody thinks that you have on really cool shoes. You know, maybe you just put them on and you didn't even think about it. Or maybe somebody thinks that you're a really good artist or a good musician and you didn't even know that.
I'm actually an artist.
You're an artist? That's cool. So what we're going to do is celebrate each other a little bit right now. If you have your paper on your back, you're going to have somebody who maybe you don't know or you do know just turn around to you and write something on your back that they appreciate about you or that they think is really great. And if you can't think of anything, well, you know what? I think we're all going to think of something. And if you are on Zoom, what you can do is, you obviously can't put this on your back, right? But you can write something in the chat and put somebody's name and then say what you think is really great about them. We don't have very long to do this because we got to go to our classes. So we'll just take a few minutes right now. And then if you want to continue this, we can show each other our appreciation for the special gifts that we bring to this place, because we're all here to support each other during coffee hour, or I guess non-coffee hour today. Biscuit hour today. All right. So we'll take a couple minutes right now, maybe. Let me see. Let me see. I'm going to write something on your back. Can I use your pencil? We'll make sure we come back in time for biscuits. Can I put something on your back? Ooh, okay. Oh, wait, this is kind of hard to write on your back.
We gotta keep it safe.
I think so. Maybe there'll be a few other things. Okay, let me put it on your back and see if other people say stuff too. Okay. Can I put something on your back?
All right. Well, we will go ahead. We're going to go ahead and sing the kids out to their classes, but I encourage everyone to continue this during the non-coffee biscuit hour. Thank you so much. Jill, is it okay to start the music and we'll get everybody? Okay. I did, but I don't think anybody heard me. Hello. I don't think. Yeah, they aren't hearing me. It's too loud. But I think if you start the music. Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right. Is my mic on? Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. I wasn't sure if this would go over well, but clearly we have a lot of things to celebrate about each other. We're going to go ahead and sing the children out to their classes now. Thank you so much.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace. May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
Hi, everyone. So I am so sorry if my voice cracks really hard doing this. I am still in my teenage boy phase of my transition, so we'll do what we can. So this year, the Board of Trustees and the transition team read this book called Serving with Grace, Lay Leadership as a Spiritual Practice. It's by Eric Walter Wickstrom. And it looks like this. It is very short, very small. It's chock full of wisdom and knowledge, including how to deepen our connection to ourselves, how to find our gifts that we bring to the community, and how we can find meaning in the practical functioning of the church with what we have learned about ourselves. If you're unfamiliar with what a lay leader is, we are non-religious professionals who serve the community in some way as leaders. Such as board members, transition team members, committee chairs, worship associates, and anyone who takes on a leadership role within the church. While UUI is our home and our grounding center, it still needs care and attention paid to it to keep us running well. These volunteer positions may be a lot of work, and oftentimes just seem to be another task that needs to get done just so we can function and open our doors. Sitting through meetings, doing business, and getting administrative work done are all very important, but they can feel tedious and like a necessary evil. Looking at the book's subtitle, Lay Leadership as a Spiritual Practice, you might be wondering just how any of this is spiritual. It's just administrative work, it's just getting meetings done. How could that be spiritual? How does spirituality play into doing all of these things? How does it apply to volunteering? Wickstrom writes, spirituality is not one thing among many that make up who we are. It is a way of looking at the world, a point of view through which everything we encounter passes. In Serving with Grace, the board and transition team have worked on learning to understand this concept within the realm of both our own self-discovery of our gifts and talents, as well as how to carry these practices into the positions we volunteer our time for. With thought, we can move from the mindset of a necessary evil to a mindset being a manifestation of our care and love for our community, our mission, our values, and crafting the core of our church as our spiritual home. So at this point, you might be wondering to yourself, okay, so the board and transition team read this book. What does it have to do with me? Because I am not a leader. Many people might find the idea of being called a leader as something that you're not comfortable with. But you may already be one, even if you don't already know it. Someone might volunteer for a position or serve as a committee chair, but would never in a million years call themselves a lay leader. Sometimes you think it might be too pretentious of us to claim the title. I know when I joined the transition team, I did not even know I could call myself a lay leader because that was for other people. We may feel that we aren't qualified or that someone else is actually the leader and we're just minor players. But even if you don't consider yourself a leader or just a volunteer or a church member, you might already have contributions that you can give that still have incredible value. You might already be on a committee and feel very fulfilled by it. You might be the person that everyone comes to because you are the one who knows how to get something done. And you might be a person who others look up to for advice. And you might be a person that feels called to do the work, but doesn't know quite how to do it yet. Our capitalistic society teaches and inundates us with the concepts of profit, the individual over the whole, systemic greed, and to only have goals that are smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. However, this way of thinking hasn't done us any favors in acknowledging goals that aren't numerically measurable or perfect. How does putting in some of our time, effort, and care into a project within the bounds of our own limitations and ability to spend time can be often so much more impactful than having to plow through project over project over project again and again without being aware of the values that we let go of in the name of this getting stuff done. And how do we even measure the connections and the development of relationships that form when we work on a project with each other? One way we can learn to counter this pervasive attitude is spending time in deep reflection of your inner self. This is part of learning to live into our value of transformation and striving for continued spiritual growth. Our faith tradition is not stagnant, and we can't be either. Unitarian Universalism values the inherent worthiness of all beings, growing and sharing with one another, and seeing each other as part of the interconnected web of all existence. This is all part of community. Discovery with the self moves towards growth in the community. We've used this metaphor before in services, but transformation from a caterpillar to a butterfly involves a lot of time of sitting in the goo of the chrysalis. We must spend some time in the goo of our brain, putting things together of how we want to be. The beginning of our UUI covenant states that love is the spirit of this church and service is its law. This calls us both to love our community within the church and outside of it, while also acknowledging that service within the community is also core in living out our stated covenant. One cannot cherish one part of this sentence without also acknowledging the other, because they are inherently intertwined. Oftentimes, those who are already seen as leaders feel like there might not be anyone to turn to or to get help from in fulfilling the mission of our congregation. When calls for new committee members or volunteers are sent through the weekly e-blast or announced in church, and if no one steps up, it can feel like the current leaders are the only ones who are able to do the things that need to do that, or else everything will fall apart around us. The burnout from this can hit very hard and leave outgoing leaders feeling unappreciated or unheard. And it also leaves gaps in our institutional knowledge for the functioning of what we do here. One thing we call for from our entire UUI community is to start thinking about the ways we can live out our covenant of service and the UU value of generosity, and not just be a passive observer of the process. In the book, Wickstrom states, active participation in the life of your spiritual community gives you an acknowledged stake in it, empowering you to make that community your true spiritual home by infusing it with your values. Everyone has a gift or gifts, even if you may not know what that gift is yet. It is a spiritual practice to recognize that you need to deepen your connection to yourself by learning to see what gift you have that you might feel fulfilled by or bring to the community in some way, especially in a way that doesn't feel like a continuation of your day job or an obligation based on your career or training. For example, just because you work as a corporate event planner doesn't mean you should feel obligated to organize church events too. You are allowed to skip out on the rummage sale. Explore yourself with intentionality and wonder about the why something needs to be done, why a group matters, and what the overall mission is for our church and our living tradition. The thinking about the why can translate into what you want to do. You might find a gift within yourself that you'd enjoy bringing to the community in some completely different way than what you normally do. Explore the boundaries of your comfort zone and see if you can expand that zone just a little bit more to show the community and others your unique gift. Service to the church and community need not be done in huge sweeping gestures, although by all means, if you feel called to make a big commitment to another group, you are more than welcome to do so. But also, there's other ways you can help the community in our church. You might find that occasionally making the coffee after service is something that you feel like you can do every once in a while, not all the time, but just, once a month, once every 2 months, you can do it. This is a way of giving back to our church members. The religious education program for our youth always needs tending to, whether it's in the nursery, like we have today with only one person. The youth always need mentors who can help guide them through their lives. And even just helping procure supplies for the program is something that people can do that really is valuable. You might come to realize that since gardening is your favorite thing in the world, you can dedicate some time helping to maintain our beautiful campus. You might realize that you feel called to be part of the social justice team because you care about equity, justice, and equality for everyone. Another plug, the tech team is integral to being being radically welcoming to all people who want to be in our community. This is helpful because people who are unable to attend a service live in person are still able to be part of the service while it is happening instead of having to watch it on YouTube later. We are able to share our joys and concerns with one another with the whole church community now as we started this practice of letting people share their joys and concerns in Zoom itself. And this is something that's been extremely powerful for people who can't attend in person for one reason or another. There's always people who need this option of Zoom to be part of our church. It is perfectly reasonable and okay to do this reflection, think about what you might want to do, but not know how to achieve it. You might not know the right thing to do, the right way to do it, or that you're just going to do something wrong and people are going to dislike you for it. It can feel really daunting to step into a role without knowing how it all comes together. However, it's okay to ask questions because part of our values is working together with open communication, trust, and respect. One thing outgoing leaders can do is help the fledglings with guidance, a written list of how things get done, who to talk to, and what the process is for maintaining this whatever function you are doing. And when you're ready to step down, lead by example. Help lift up new leaders before you reach that burnout stage. For the conclusion of your time of service, if you're ready to step down from a leadership role, we really need people who can step up and know what they're getting into. This is all spiritual and bringing us together in our home as a community. We are all part of the interconnected web of all beings, and we all have a role to play in living out our covenants, values, missions, and anything else that we hold dear and necessary within this world. Recognizing the spirituality of actions you take within the church and among each other is key to growth and the development as a non-stagnant human being, just as our living tradition isn't stagnant. And this is with the knowledge that no one person has to do it alone, and that no one person has all the answers. We are all in this together, and a diversity of lived experiences, knowledge, gifts, leadership styles, and intersections are all needed to make a difference in this world and to show that love is our central value as Unitarian Universalists. If any of this resonates with you, the Serving with Grace book will be available at the book fair directly after the service. However, it is on back order, and so if you buy it, you'll receive it later. It is a very short read. Again, it's a pretty small book. It's under 100 pages, but it's really powerful to read it for anyone from folks that are new to Unitarian Universalism all the way up to current leaders who may want to learn about different ways you can have meetings, different ways you can bring spirituality into your practices. The transition team will be holding discussion sessions in the fall to talk about the book and its message, what gifts you think you have, what things you've learned, and what you'd like to learn more about. You don't have to have read the book to participate, although it would be helpful. And we're going to have these sessions. You don't need to write this down. We'll put it in e-blast. But we're going to be having them on Tuesday, September 24th on Zoom, and on Sunday, September 29th before the service. You'll be able to sign up for these events in the link coming in the next e-blast. We highly recommend this book and the message as a common read for UUI, and we hope that everyone, regardless of if you buy the book or not, will begin to do your own self-reflection of yourself and work on the process of discovering what gifts you have and what you love to do. Blessed be, and may your self-discoveries be very powerful.
Thank you. That music, couldn't you just like see people kicking their legs? And thank you to the transition team for engaging with this book in such a productive way and wanting to bring it to the congregation. As Breyer said, the book is available at the bookstore. It's also available online. And if you have any questions, just let us know. I do want to share that there was one sorrow that didn't get to the joys and sorrows in time, and that somebody brought to me and expressly asked me to share. Pat shares that she has been in the hospital 3 times in the past 3 months, and that her daughter was in a wreck that totaled her car recently. And Pat could use your support, so if you see her on the way out today, I think she would very much appreciate a hug. Every month, UUI gives half of the Sunday collection to a nonprofit organization that aligns with our values and is chosen by the Social Justice Committee. This August, the Share the Plate offering will go to Indie Reads, whose mission is to build literacy, English language, and job readiness skills to empower adults and families to help them reach their full potential. Indie Reads' vision is 100% literacy for everyone. To reach their vision, they provide free adult literacy classes, English language classes, tutoring for adults, workforce certification programs, and high school equivalency diplomas through both virtual and in-person classrooms. You can give on your smartphone by texting the dollar amount you want to give and the word share to the phone number which is in the chat and in your bulletin. You can also give on our website at uui.org. And here in the sanctuary, ushers will come around to collect donations. The offering will now be gratefully received. May it be joyfully given.
Thank you for your generosity, both financial and musical. Our closing words today are from the book Serving with Grace. The assumption that we've been through this 100 times is really just an illusion. For the person who remains curious and who is awake to the moment, life never repeats itself. This conversation, even if it resembles others you've been involved in incredibly closely, is always a unique experience, and unique experiences are rarely, if ever, dreary or draining. The unknown, the unexpected, almost always makes us come more alive. Remember, it is the journey, not the destination, that matters most in this new way of doing church work. It is the relationships that are developed, not the items crossed off the to-do list. It is the growth of the fruits of the Spirit in your own life and in the congregation's life. This, ultimately, is the why that supersedes even the congregational mission statement.
Please rise in body or in spirit as we join together in singing hymn number 404, What Gift Can We Bring?
What gift can we bring? What present, what token, what words can convey the joy of this day? When grateful we come, remembering, rejoicing, what song can we offer in honor and praise? Thanks to the past for those who had vision, who planted and watered so dreams could come true. Give thanks for the now, for study, for worship, for mission that bids us to therein to deed. This gift we now bring, this present, this token, these words can convey it, the joy of this day. When grateful we come, remembering, rejoicing, this song we now offer in honor and praise.
Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words on the screen and printed in your order of service. Now we extinguish the flame of our chalice, but not the light of understanding, the warmth of compassion, or the fire of commitment. Let us keep those with us until we meet again. Go in peace.